You never really belonged here. Well, at least they let you in. Years of loyalty had been taken for granted. I made them look ridiculous in front of the neighbors. Accounts frozen, bills piling up, lawyer letters flooding their mailbox. They were panicked and helpless with nowhere to turn. That day, arriving home, my mom's words hit the kitchen like a knife. Kyle leaned against the doorframe, smirking. At least they let you in. I smiled faintly, placing the sandwich I was holding on the table, making a mental note of the remark. Every birthday gathering had been like this. Forced smiles, cold greetings, and the financial burdens I had never signed for yet always carried. It was my mom's 61st birthday, and I already knew my role. Chauffeur, server, emotional punching bag, and, if lucky, ATM. They no longer even pretended to be grateful. I arrived 20 minutes early, hoping maybe this year I wouldn't be handed a list of tasks immediately. No sooner had I taken off my coat than she pointed at the kitchen. These deviled eggs aren't cold enough. Kyle showed up 40 minutes late. The room practically applauded his entrance. Mom rushed to greet him. Dad pulled out a chair. I kept moving trays of appetizers, a background character at a party I was funding. No one offered help. No one said thank you. Kyle joked that I still loved playing servant. I waited for someone to call him out. Nobody did. Mom laughed. Dad didn't even look up. Aunt Linda muttered, "Michelle's always been good with her hands." I bit my tongue, knowing those hands had paid nearly all their bills. Dinner began and I sat at the corner, next to a cousin I barely knew. Mom delivered her usual speech, crying halfway through, speaking of family, life, and this beautiful home. No mention of the $25,000 I had lent them. No mention of the night I pulled money from my emergency fund to prevent their car from being repossessed. Then her eyes met mine. "You're just here for appearances. Nobody really cares about you." Kyle immediately added, "At least they let you in." The table went quiet for a moment. Some people seemed to realize it went too far. Conversation shifted. I ate dessert, complimented the lemon cake, drove Aunt Linda home. Politeness kept me presentable, but inside I knew the game was over. 4 days later, the joint account was frozen. Mom went to buy groceries, her card declined. The electric company called, internet cut out, cell phones went dead. The account had been under my name to ensure essentials were covered, but they had made it clear I was just for show. I let it happen silently without warning. The lawyer's letter came next, detailing the $25,000 loan signed on January 14th the previous year, with an 18-month repayment term. 18 months had passed. No payment. No contact. Just excuses and cold indifference. I gave them 15 business days to respond. They ignored it. 2 weeks later, Mom texted, "This is hurtful. I never thought you'd stoop so low. We are family." No mention of repayment. No effort to make things right. I didn't reply. The next day, my attorney Rachel filed a lawsuit for $25,000 plus interest and court fees. All documents were in order: bank transfers, signed agreements, screenshots of texts, everything. In court, my parents didn't bring lawyers, only a folder that looked decades old. Inside were bank printouts with dates crossed out and a handwritten note claiming the money was a gift, the agreement symbolic. The judge looked only at facts and contracts and ruled in my favor. Payment due in 30 days or collections. That night, I removed my name from all their accounts and subscriptions, canceled credit cards, phones, internet, TV. 2 days later, Kyle texted, "You really cut everything off. They're screwed, right?" I didn't reply. I wasn't fine either, but at least I no longer pretended. 3 weeks later, I came home to find my front door sprayed in red. Fool. The cheap red dripped down the door. I froze, not in fear, but in recognition of betrayal. Nothing like this had ever happened in our neighborhood. I took photos. They wanted me to see it. Mom had already posted it on Facebook. Such hatred in the world. Emojis littered the caption. Comments hinted at me being at fault. She liked them. I realized it wasn't just her. It was Kyle too. They wanted to humiliate me quietly while keeping up appearances. I didn't respond. 2 weeks of observation showed their online manipulation unraveling. Fake victim posts, vague spiritual quotes, housework photos. I knew it was time. That night, dressed in black, carrying spray paint, I walked along the back of their house. Slowly, deliberately, I wrote, "Foolish hypocrite parents who use their daughter for money." Each letter clear, neat, deliberate. When finished, I stood back and inhaled deeply. By morning, photos were all over the neighborhood's social media. People started questioning. Deleting posts didn't stop it. The story was out of control. Uncle Jack came over sipping beer. "Done." I nodded. Not relief, just finality. He was the only one who could say the truth aloud. You don't need their approval anymore. They went quiet, but 2 days later police showed up. They reported vandalism, accusing me. I neither denied nor admitted it. Rachel handled everything. No evidence. The court also denied their bankruptcy attempt. My $25,000 remained owed. Dad texted, "You got what you wanted. Hope you're proud." I didn't reply. Uncle Jack hugged me before leaving. "You did what they never expected." I watched him drive off, for the first time feeling truly seen. In the following days, I ignored their social media narratives and focused on my life. Rumors gradually faded. Through neighbors, I heard Kyle moved back in with them. Church attendance stopped. Mom still didn't understand why I snapped. I didn't care. The family I loved deeply was no longer mine to fix. I organized 10 years of bills, transfers, and messages, a complete record for myself. Every dollar, every hour, every act of patience, they had taken as given. Gratitude was foreign to them. One day, Tessa sent me a message with the video from the night of the door spray painting. I didn't reply, only saved it labeled with the date. Kyle and friends tried to spin the story again, but no one could see the real me. 3 months passed. I slept soundly. I no longer checked emails or social media in fear. My life, work, friends, independent accounts was fully mine. The girl who had cleaned their house, paid their bills, and endured humiliation had vanished, replaced by an adult who knew how to protect herself. Sometimes I recalled birthdays, cold looks, silent judgment. I breathed deeply, knowing true revenge wasn't spray paint or court rulings. It was reclaiming my life. I didn't need the thrill of revenge. Inner peace was victory. Neighborhood calm returned. My parents' story faded from view. Kyle no longer bothered me. Uncle Jack visited occasionally, balcony beers in hand. "See, you never really needed them." I smiled, no longer angry, watching the sun set. The scars remained, but I learned to stand again. I wrote one last line for myself. I am no longer their tool, no longer their joke. True freedom is knowing you owe no one, and no one defines you. 3 months later, no messages, no harassment, no threats. Just me living steadily, independently. The spray paint faded, but its meaning endured. I was no longer the daughter for show. I was my own master.